What's going on, everyone? I hope you all enjoyed your weekend a little bit more than I did. As you might remember, I traveled to Carolina to watch Cam Newton and the Panthers play Tyrod Taylor and the Bills and see zero professional athletes basically do what they're supposed to do and score touchdowns. I guess you could make the argument that the defense did what they were supposed to do, but I went all the way there. It's something I've been looking forward to for a couple years. It's been in the works for a couple years because my father lives down there. So I knew it was a thing that was going to happen. So I was going to stay there, whatever. I've been looking forward to it for a couple years, and I got no touchdowns. Zero touchdowns. You obviously know the game wasn't pretty. It was cool seeing how many Bills fans were down there. I got some attention on Twitter because I tweeted how many Bills fans were in the Charlotte airport, and the Charlotte airport confirmed that. I mean, I'm telling you, there were Bills fans everywhere. That was I don't know if it was 50-50, but it was basically a neutral site. I'm telling you, there were so many Bills fans at that game. Unbelievable. And awesome to see. I wish the Bills could have came away with a win. Obviously, they almost did. We'll talk about all of it. Where do we start? First of all, do we have to have this Tyrod Peterman conversation after every bad game? God, it's really tiring. And it's really telling that, there are people in charge of that, coaches and, people who are with Nathan Peterman and Tyrod Taylor every day, coaches, players, etc., front office members, and they don't even seem to be giving it a second thought. They're just brushing it aside. No, Tyrod's our starter. That's how McDermott reacts. It's not a big thing. That is a thing that could change, but then you see people like Shady saying that Tyrod, we wouldn't have had a chance without Tyrod. Dennison, maybe just with coach speak here, Tyrod kept us in the game on Sunday. That's kind of a stretch. I would even admit it. Whatever. He doesn't have to go out there and show his entire hand. That's fine. That can be coach speak if you want. But when you have coaches and players, even the best player in McCoy, who's yeah, Tyrod is, the only reason we had a shot. That's kind of, I don't know if that's an indictment on Peterman, but that just goes to show you where the locker room stands. It's Tyrod's team. McDermott preaches this character and, being a leader on and off the field. And as long as Tyrod exemplifies that, I think he's going to be the starter. And unless the Bills fall out of the playoff picture, that could change. The Bills are 1-4 going into the bye, and they have 2 weeks to get, Peterman ready. That's possible, I suppose. I'm not at that point yet. It's week 2, and it's oh, yes, bad game, and everyone's let's go Peterman, just jump on Tyrod. He's won more games than he's lost. They're 16-15 when he plays. I'm kind of the opinion, I guess, that he probably won't be here next year. I don't know that for sure, but it seems to look that way. But he is here now, and he gives you the best chance of winning, and that's in my opinion. I just don't think, I haven't watched Nathan Peterman and been I gotta get this guy in the game. He's just, I can't, how can I justify not playing him? And then some people reply, well, how can you justify playing Tyrod? Well, gives you pretty much the same game every week. Last week was bad. Sunday against Carolina was bad. 15 passing yards at halftime. 5 of 7 for 15 yards. It's terrible. I'll get into that. A little bit more. But I'm just not... And then you want to kill him for the last play to Jones, and I think that's kind of on both of them. I mean, Zay Jones, one of his biggest things was best hands in the draft. At least that's what I remember hearing. And so make the play. It would have been an outstanding catch, but, it was there. The thing with Tyrod is just you haven't... They don't get the benefit of the doubt because you haven't seen it. And I get that. I don't think the record is very good. I don't know it offhand. I don't think the record is very good when they're trailing in the fourth quarter. I know he's brought them back a couple times. Tennessee, Jacksonville maybe, or you know, he's done it. But you kind of want to just see him take control of those situations. And then I didn't love the Andre Holmes or offensive pass interference penalty. They didn't show a replay of it in the stadium. I didn't see it, so but I'm probably willing to bet it was marginal at best. Because I think the refs tried to give Carolina the game when Kelvin Benjamin runs into E.J. Gaines and the pass interference penalty. Like, I mean, come on. Thankfully, Cam overthrew Christian McCaffrey, gives the Bills a chance, but, like, I'm not done with Tyrod. I'm sorry, and I'm not sorry. Sorry that I'm not sorry, but I'm just not done with him. I don't think you need to be. I mean, a bad quarterback has, you don't see everyone like, oh, Jared Goff, we got to get this guy out of there. Granted, he was taken in the first round. I get that, first overall. Like, if Carson Wentz has a bad game, they're not clamoring for some rookie to come in and play. You know, it's... Well, you want to find out what we have with Peterman. Like, okay. Like, I guess I get that. And what if he's not good? Well, then we're picking at the top of the draft. Well, then what if he is good? Well, then we don't need to pick one. Like, no, I think you should just... The plan should be the plan. There should be no scenario where the Bills are completely against the idea of drafting one of those guys next year. None. I don't care if Tyrod wins the rest of the games. What's worse than... Like, if you have... God forbid you have... Like, I brought this up last week. God forbid you have two good quarterbacks. Who cares? Get them. I mean, you don't need to trade up for one if you go 15-1. You know, you don't need to trade up for one. You just shouldn't be out of your mind. Maybe the Bills will use their ammunition to trade up next year. It might cost an arm and a leg, but it's out. It's like I just said. There should be no scenario where it's just not an option. I don't care if Peterman comes in and plays well. They should still be open to the idea. Anyway, so I'd love to talk more about the game. I guess I'll transition over to the Broncos and sort of mix and match here a little bit. The Broncos coming to town this week. Broncos are 2-0. Trevor Siemian threw 4 touchdowns last week against Dallas. They killed them. They won week 1. They got a little bit lucky in week 1. And they took their foot off the gas, up 17 points against the Chargers. And then they got a little bit lucky that the kick got blocked. You know, there's a little bit of luck involved, obviously. That game could have went to overtime easily. The Broncos are a team that started 4-0 last year. And, you know, they trembled to 8-8, I guess. And, sorry, my doorbell just rang. It's really throwing me off. I have no idea who that could be. I'm not going to answer it. I'm on this video. You don't interrupt these videos. Come on. I'm here. They kind of limped to 8-4. The Broncos did. They got to 8-4, and then they fell to 8-7. Probably would have been 8-8 had Derek Carr not got hurt in Week 17. We think, I don't know that for sure, but they killed Connor Cook, or Matt McGloin and Connor Cook, however that situation played out. I'm not trying to say the Broncos are a bad team. They're actually a really good team. On defense, it makes me nervous. Von Miller might wreak havoc against Jordan Mills. Bills just can't. I mean, obviously, they can't have that kind of performance last week. And I think where that comes down to is setting up the run game. Now, McCoy had 12 carries for 9 yards. Other than the last handoff at the end of the half to run the clock out, McCoy had 2 carries in the first half. He had 3 for 0 in the first half. One was that last play that they just ran the clock out. Other than that, 2 first-half carries. And the Bills are not the kind of team that can win without running. And I know that sounds weird. I know everyone wants them to pass the ball and throw it a lot. They still might do that. But they're not the kind of team that can really win when the running game is not successful. They need McCoy to be he is their best player. They need him to play like their best player. And then they are able to do other things offensively. But when they're constantly in 2nd and 10, 2nd and 12, 2nd and 8, and still trying to run the ball, and they set themselves up in 3rd and longs, it's ever. Tyrod has to be better. I get it. I saw him miss open guys. Not overthrow them, but not see open guys. And, I mean, that's a problem. That's been a problem. That's been one of his things. I don't know. Hopefully a new coach can handle that for him. But all in all, he's not going to be successful, I don't think, personally, if they don't run the ball. I think in the 16 games Tyrod Taylor has won, not that LaShawn McCoy, I know LaShawn McCoy didn't play in all of them, but if McCoy didn't have over 100 yards, this could be wrong. I saw it and I can't remember it, and I should have looked it up. In the 16 games Taylor has won, I think McCoy had over 100 yards in 11 of them, something like that. So, I mean, that shows you how well they sort of complement each other. I know that Tyrod can be a bit of a running He's a great athlete. He's a running quarterback at times. I've used the runner versus gunner analogy last year when the Bills lost to Oakland. Derek Carr is a gunner and Tyrod Taylor is a runner. That doesn't mean this can't work. I'm nervous about this week, obviously, with Denver coming in being 2-0, but they're riding high right now. I don't really like teams on emotional highs and victories, especially because they've had 2 home games. They have to come out east. They have to play the Bills. They're going to lose eventually. Denver's not going undefeated. I know they're in a good division, but they're not going to go undefeated. Somebody's going to beat them. They're more than likely going to win, no more than 4 or 5 of their road games, even if they are a playoff team. So, why can't this be one of them? I am not of the opinion that this is an easy game for Denver. I see a lot of people just picking Denver flat across the board. And I don't think it's that simple for them. I think the Bills need to set up the run. I think they need to use a slot receiver. They need to use the inside the hashes, the Charles Clays, the Jordan Matthews, because Aqib Talib and Chris Harris are very good. But having watched this defense, the Bills' defense, play through 2 games, I think they can hold Trevor Siemian and C.J. Anderson down. Trevor Siemian hasn't thrown for a ton of yards. In the 2 games they played, their passing yards are 181 and 202. Those are their total passing yards. Their rushing yards are 140 and 178. Bills have been strong against the run so far. Denver's turned the ball over 4 times in 2 games. They'll give you opportunities to get in the game. But seeing a team that runs the ball heavily like Dallas does last week, Ezekiel Elliott only getting 8 yards, that doesn't, it looks on paper doesn't bode well for the Bills. But like I said, Trevor Siemian is getting all the interviews this week. C.J. Anderson is too. A great game. Oh, we're 2-0. Hey, yeah, Denver Broncos. You've had 2 home games. You got to come out on the road. They do seem focused, because I heard Trevor Siemian after the game say Buffalo doesn't care for 2-0 or 0-2. So I know that he's going to be focused because he has a lot to prove. And guys that have stuff to prove, to me, are the more dangerous. That's why I think the Bills have a shot in this game, because they're not getting a shot. Or they have a shot because they're not getting a shot, nationally at least. They're not being given one. Just Denver's going into Buffalo and they're going to be 3-0. I don't buy that. I don't think I'm going to pick the Bills to win. I'll make that pick right now. That's Denver's favored by 3. That sounds about right. I'll say 21-16 Broncos. Could be 9-3 again for all I know. But I'll go 21-16 Broncos. Maybe it's 21-10 and Bills score a touchdown and don't get to 2 or something like that. I don't know. But 21-16 Broncos. But, I mean, it's going to be 86 degrees. There's a lot of factors going into this. I trust our secondary against Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. Granted, they've been good. Sanders, they got them involved early last week, despite the lightning delay. I think the Bills' defense can keep them in it. And I know, whatever, that Carolina's offense might not be that good, but they got to Cam Newton 6 times. They only sacked Josh McCown once or twice, right? And they held them down. I mean, what do you guys think? Even if you got a Peterman argument, let me hear it. Come on. I've heard enough of them, but let me hear it. I want to know what you think about this game, about the next game, not the next game, but the next couple games and how they might go going into the bye, will we see Peterman type of thing. Hit me up on Twitter. As always, my Twitter handle is the same as my YouTube username. And you can hit me up on there. I'm always talking Bills and whatnot. But have a good weekend, guys. Enjoy the game. It's going to be nice and hot. Hottest game in 15 years. And above all else, go Bills.